Hey everybody, this is just kind of what's happened in the last 2 days. We just got the tires back on the trailer, got new tires, so we're going to be headed out to one of the properties right now to get some work done. Not all of this is glamorous, and it's wonderful at the first of the month when all the checks come in and everything like that, but there's a lot of other stuff that behind the scenes to make that happen. Generally speaking, I have found that the way that I do it will give you the best returns. However, I create a monster that, for lack of better words, I can't get away from. And we always talk about, we're after the freedom, we're after the passive income. Well, there ain't nothing about real estate that's really passive unless you're in a situation where all you're doing is supplying the money, okay? And there's a lot of great opportunities out there that'll give you anywhere from, I've seen them 12 to 25% return. These are projected. There's nothing guaranteed. And I am not a financial advisor whatsoever. I'm just a redneck in the South that's, kind of figured something out that works for me. And I've seen other people that it works for them as well. And the people I trade places with do it the same way in some regards, okay? And the thing about it is that, it's not really passive unless you get involved with like a syndication where all you're doing is supplying money. Even the Bible talks about it's better to be a lender than it is a borrower. So ultimately, that's where you should be trying to get to, is to be the money, okay? And there's no other population, no other religion in the world that has more millionaires for the entire amount of people practicing that religion than Jews, okay? And there's a number of reasons for that. They're supposed to, and don't quote me on this, but at an early age they're supposed to read the Quran, and so they have to do daily reading, so they're readers to start with, okay? And the vast majority of people that I trade places with do a tremendous amount of reading, all right? The other thing that happens is that they got no issue making money, all right? For some reason, there's like a cloud on top of Christians says, hey, you're not supposed to be rich. You're not supposed to be wealthy. You're not supposed to have abundance, not have to prosperity. Basically, you're supposed to have a robe, walk barefoot the rest of your life, around the earth and tell everybody about Jesus. I get it, okay? But I still haven't found the scripture that says that's what you're supposed to do, okay? It talks a lot about abundance. It talks a lot about prosperity in the Bible, and it talks about working 6 days a week. It doesn't talk about being lazy. It doesn't, for some reason, there's just a connotation with that, and that's just something that I don't buy into, okay? I think it is important to remember that, all of this will be gone in the fraction of a second if that's what God chooses to do. The other thing is that God gives you a blessing, i.e. some investments, rental property, something of that nature. It's your job to be a good steward and take care of that blessing instead of being reckless and flippant with it, okay? So I say all of this, watch this video. There's a couple things, a lot of problems that I'm having with this, or not problems, but things that I've discovered with this one piece of property, and we need to get it up and going quick so I can get some cash flow coming in the process with 2 different people about getting loans on a piece of property that I already have that's paid for and done, and I just need to get some of my money back out of it. And I hate doing that because I love when that rent comes in, and especially that property, the rent's $1,500 a month. So basically, after taxes and insurance, I get to see about $1,200 of that. Well, that'll be, that payment on that place will be about $750, $800 a month. So there'll be a little bit of money left over each month, but I'll be able to take that money and get 3 other properties up and going. And that's absolutely huge right there, because with what I take on as a payment versus a cash flow coming in, I will get an $80,000 loan on that house and it will be done in 3 years. I will collect that much additional money from having those other 3 properties up and going when that occurs. So it makes financial sense every day of the week to do it. You know, the other thing is that the more properties that you have, we call it the leverage, but the appreciation on them, and generally speaking, and I don't ever recommend you buying for appreciation because it's never guaranteed. However, generally speaking, your property goes up about 5% a year, okay? If it goes up 40% a year, you can bet on that more than likely it'll drop 20 to 25% within a few short years after that, okay? It's just the nature of the beast. But, you know, if you own $1 million worth of real estate, you're making $50,000 a year. You don't get paid that until you sell or you refinance. And there's a guy that I had heard about that what his method is that every 2 to 3 years he refinances his properties and he walks away with about $2 to $3 million whenever he does that, okay? His properties don't cash flow. They break even, okay? But all of his profits in the refinance. The reason that scares me is you never know what it's going to be like when you go to refinance, okay? Real estate will always stay the same. Financing is the only thing that always changes, okay? Back in the early 2000s, it was like the Wild Wild West. You could buy a house, you could get a loan on it within 60 days for 120% of the appraised value. I know it's crazy, but yes, that happened. There was a crash in the early 2000s that occurred. Then there was one in '08 as well, okay? So you see these cycles, and right now is a phenomenal time to be getting in the game tonight. Right now is a phenomenal time to be buying stocks, getting involved in the market. It's probably the best time it's been in 25 years. You know, just take a look at it and everything. Again, I'm not an advisor. I just do what I do. Hope you enjoy. All right, here we are. We got that tire changed. We got that tire changed. So we are back in business and about to be making money again. Buddy, here we are. We got a situation that kind of like termites gone wild. Yes, that's what it is. This is termites gone wild. It's off the chain. Bought this property, and unfortunately not enough of it was exposed for me to be able to see everything that was going on with it and whatnot. So we're kind of in a situation where, you know, you just got to make do with what you got. And you know, when you get lemons, make lemonade and serve it up. So show you a little bit about what's going on. It's going to be a nice little apartment right here. You got a little bedroom. This right here is kind of like a living room. And we had some termite damage in this floor right here. This is a kitchen area right here. Get this redone. And that was the bathroom floor. And unfortunately, over the years, they kept letting it leak with a bad wax ring, rotted the floor, got termites and everything. And I'm going to end up pulling that tub out. That's not going to be fun. That's cast iron, very heavy, and no joke for sure. And so we'll go ahead, get this done, get it out of there, replace the whole floor, and we'll move forward with it. We're going to put a vent fan in and overhead light as well. Probably do a surround, and that window's coming out of there. We're going to do all new PEX plumbing throughout the place as well. This AC is going to go out. We're going to close that in. AC, it's a bad situation. It's the pitch of it, the incline is coming in, and so there's been water that's been coming inside. It all comes from people not knowing what they're doing. A lot of, better words, just a lot of half-assed work that people, you know, just didn't care. And a lot of times you get into situations where these properties have been neglected for a long time, and so now we're in a situation we're going to make it beautiful and fix it up right so it'll you know, continue to put money in my pocket for the next 20, 30 years, because that's what I want. In the older homes, you always got to love whatever it is that you come across, because you just never know, for lack of better words. And so I'm going to show you a flooring system that was done, and not a good design at all, caused a lot of problems, and we're going to fix it. We'll get it done and move forward. So these beams are about totally ate up, and you can see the ends over here. See that right there? This has all been ate up with termites. We're gonna have to reframe all of this. And I don't know how much further going underneath, but I'll probably tear this closet out just to expose more of it. This is one of these jobs that the more you get into it, the worse it is. That right there, they had 2x4s on top of there, on the edge, coming all the way over to there. And they were actually an inch higher. And so that area right there was an inch higher than the rest of this floor because they were too lazy to use a table saw to rip the 2x4s down. And so what ends up happening is that we'll come off of this right here and transition all the way to that edge over there. Will get us a mark, and then that's how we'll end up running it. But as you can see, you know, you just never know with these places, and you know, all kinds of people have worked on the thing, and you know, and the bad part is there's no vapor barrier or anything. Most of the time, you'll notice that there'll be a piece of metal that'll go on top of that main purling running back and forth, and then on top of that, there'll be a piece of metal that'll be there, a termite block, and see, there's a piece of like carpet or something right there on top of it. It's just crazy the way that a lot of stuff gets done and everything, but we'll end up having to jack this up just a little bit and be able to get the ends of the new floor joist in there, run them over here, and you know, get this all done. We'll end up having to put something and suspend the ceiling right there, and put some 4x4s or 6x6s and just temporarily elevate the roof. Keep the roof suspended so that we don't have to worry about it coming crashing down on us or anything like that, because safety is always #1 priority. And whenever you're working like this, you know, so much of this house is probably still kept together because of the wood siding put on it and everything. And so, you know, you lack of better words, you make the best with what you got. And, you know, that's the hand you're dealt, and go forward with it. Probably next week sometime, I will put my overalls on, and we're gonna go all through underneath this place, checking to see where the rest of the termite damage is, if there is any. We did have to, there was a lip right here going across there. Had to grind that down, so it's gonna be a smooth surface all the way, and we'll get it straightened out. I should do a whole collection of crazy repairs I've found. That right there is concrete, okay? This house is off grade. So what they did was they had probably rotting beams going across there. They put a piece of Luan or thin plywood and then put that concrete on it to help, okay? And no, you can definitely feel it flex. If I was to step on that, jump up and down, eventually it's gonna cave in. And hopefully I'll be able to crawl underneath over here, see what we're working with, and then come up with a game plan to fix it, but we're gonna end up tearing it out. Bugs in this place were oh so bad, but it's beautiful wood cabinets. We're gonna save these, scrub them up, probably paint them, the water heaters inside of that. Had to get refrigerator and stove out of here because the bugs were so bad inside of it. And it's a nice size living room here and everything. It's got a, this is 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It'll rent, once we're done with it, it'll rent for about $950, maybe $1,000 a month, somewhere in there. And start making some money. They got a floor furnace right here. Unfortunately, one of the things in this area right here, this floor is sinking. And so a lot of that has to do with because the floor joists are cut so that that will fit in there. But we can make it better, and we're gonna end up leaving the bathroom. The bathroom's in pretty good shape as far as the tile goes and everything. And we'll leave this here. So it's been a good day so far, except for having about 20 of these simplex nails in your tires. You know, some days it just goes like that. Oh man. We're going down the road and somebody had a whole box of them come off a truck, spilled all over. Didn't see them. it goes like that. However, we do have money in the bank, so we'll be able to get them fixed. Never miss anything except for the money. It's unfortunate, but that's why you put money away in case things like this happen. Well, we did make it home. Unfortunately, she's down, done, no more, and I think that one's going flat as well.